This is not intended to be a class in navigation. This is more about what if. What if suddenly, for some reason, your boat, the world, has no electricity? Well, here are some of the basic things that you would need to be able to find out where you are. All of these items are easily available and inexpensive. And this is the most basic thing that you need to find out where you are. If you're offshore and out of sight of land, you're going to need to know what time it is. This is very important. This can be something as simple as having an accurate wristwatch. But the time signals from a shortwave radio, that's what will allow you to be able to navigate using the sun and stars. This is a crude representation of a compass, but even if you just mounted that somewhere, you would at least have directional knowledge. This is my sextant that I navigated thousands of miles with. It was made in 1933, and it belonged to the same mariner before I bought it in 1968 for $75. It sank with my first boat, was rescued, and then rebuilt in an instrument shop, and I've been using it ever since, and it's 0 degrees corrections everywhere. This is a fine instrument. You can find many things like this everywhere, from a $50 plastic model all the way up to fancy ones that cost thousands of dollars. You have these tables on board, which all the math is all worked out already ahead of time, saves you from a lot of trigonometry. Then you're good to go. And there are many books like this. You can choose what helps you learn the most. But if you don't know how to navigate, you should have one of these on board too. This is a Walker patent log. You mount the readout gauge on your stern rail, and you tow that brass fish behind, and it spins and racks up the miles. It's a way of giving you a better estimate of how far you've traveled, which will allow you to place your next navigation point more accurately. A decent pair of binoculars. This computer is hardened and it probably would withstand some powerful electronic blasts, as well as you could probably drive over it with a Humvee. But it's just a brick unless you have electricity. Choose one or both. I'm going to give everyone a simple list, broken into 2 parts. After considering them both, you can choose either one or both. There's only one ask. While you're in the process, take one factor into consideration. This might seem far-fetched or impossible, but the physics and reality of solar cycles at the base of it is a fact. On the far edge of that, electromagnetic pulse warfare would probably have the same result. If you're unaware of the Carrington event in the 1860s, or the effect a hydrogen bomb test in the Pacific, which blew out all the power in Hawaii, then before you decide which list is right for you, it might be wise to get some history. List 1. Compass, paper charts, pencils and erasers, a barometer, a small battery or a mechanical timepiece, some dividers, a parallel rule, a taffrail log, a sextant, small battery shortwave receiver, binoculars. Cost under $2,000. List 2. Compass, GPS plotter, Knot meter, depth sounder, Iridium Go and monthly service, predict wind and monthly service, radar, single sideband radio, refrigeration, water maker, water access electric dependent, a pressure system, not manual. That might cost you up to $20,000. If you choose list number 2 and ignore number 1 because it's hard, less accurate, vigilance dependent, old-fashioned, not relevant in today's world, remember that today's world is just that. Will you be prepared if it's all gone? Just like that? Take this down to the level of each boat, in which case a single bolt of lightning could make you be lost in space. All that old stuff is still around and generally at bargain prices. After all, who wants Dad's old sextant? How quaint that is. Have the old stuff. Major paper charts at least, and some books you can learn from to be freestanding if someday everything isn't exactly as it is today. You can take this or leave it. From an old guy who sailed lots and wrecked, too. Wrecking develops an interesting perspective. That's all I've got. Oh, here's a hint. Number 1 list will always work. Choose wisely.